you become a self-aware person, or you become a person that cares about other people. Sindio? So you have to take intentional steps towards getting that. Now, I know you can't see my screen, but I will just take you through. When I talk about positive and negative emotions, oh, you can. Okay, perfect. Is it here as well? Okay, so when we're talking about positive and negative emotions, hatumaanishi kwamba positive, okay, positive are good, yes, and negative is bad, but it doesn't mean that you should stop feeling negative emotions, because you can't really control how you feel, right? You just wake up, someone amekukera, utakuwa na hasira. That's a negative emotion. But what we're saying is, are you aware that you're experiencing a negative emotion? And as you are aware, do you know how to regulate yourself so that you do not project it onto others, so that you do not come across as someone that is rude or arrogant with the people that you interact with? So all emotions are important because they give you the information that, oh, I'm feeling this way because fulani kafanya hichi kimeni trigger, right? But you understanding that actually gives you the ability to control yourself and to manage yourself better when dealing with them. Most of the time, we fail to understand people, and that is why we started with that activity in the beginning. So if you could please go forward. Yes, just back a bit. Yeah. There, thank you. So, normally what we're feeling or what we're experiencing, ni kama hapo. This is like we have above the surface and below the surface. So the way that we act, mtu anachoona ni kile ambacho kiko above the surface, right? So unaweza kuona mtu, they're always just making assumptions, jumping into conclusions, they're always reactive, they're blaming other people. Lakini what you're seeing is the top of the surface. What you're seeing is a behavior ya yule mtu. But what causes that behavior? What causes a behavior ni the emotions that you're feeling inside. So you might see a person is always making assumptions. Lakini kwa sababu ni they are uncertain about a situation, right? Mmetoka chuo, mmefanya mtihani mgumu, wote mnaanza kusema, mimi sitapasi, for example, yeah? Kwa sababu ule mtihani ulikuwa mgumu sana. Sijui hata nimejibu nini. Si ndio? What we're seeing is you making assumptions. Lakini you're making that assumption because inside you're uncertain. You don't know kama utapasi au utafeli. You don't know kama umejibu vizuri lile swali au hujajibu vizuri. We all, when COVID hit, right? Ilianza abroad, and everyone, most of the countries went into lockdown. They were not, they were working from home, right? But Ivofika Tanzania, we weren't sure what was going to happen. So we started making assumptions. Na sisi pia tutaambiwa tukae nyumbani, right? But is that what happened? No. So the reason is because we were uncertain. Sometimes you might find a person and blame other people. Why? Because they are fearful of how you're feeling. So whatever that a person is, the behavior that you're seeing from a person is informed by a feeling that they have internally. So this is an example of unpleasant emotions. But we also have pleasant emotions. So for pleasant emotions, you might see a person is able to engage well with other people. Why? Because, all right, thank you. Is able to engage well with other people. Is it seen from there? Okay. Okay. So You might find a person is able to engage well with other people. Why? Because they have that sense of purpose. Na ndo maana mwanzoni tulisema nini? You need to understand why you are here. Why did you choose engineering? Why do you want to go work in that field? Once you understand your purpose, you're able to engage with people more well. If you care for other people, it's mostly because you feel valued, right? A person that is well-informed makes decisions or focuses more on solutions. Okay. So moving. Okay, I took you through this part already. And I mentioned this already, right? The way that we feel basically influences our decisions, behavior, and productivity. As people going into employment, you need to know how you show up will determine the way that people talk to you, the way that they engage with you, the way you're able to be productive. So behaviors are fundamental to our interactions and collaboration in and outside the workplace. If you're able to understand your emotions and manage your emotions or express them effectively, it helps you to gain better momentum, to be better at your performance. So what we're saying is, it's not that you don't experience negative emotions, right? But how do you communicate kwamba leo I am not in the right state of mind, and being able to work towards that. Now, emotional intelligence is the ability to perceive, to understand, to express, reason with, and manage emotions within oneself and others. So I want you to take a look at the floor here, yeah? It says perceive and understand. Kwamba as an individual, wewe mwenyewe inabidi kwanza ujitambue na ujielewe unachohisi or unachofeel, and then express that emotion effectively and manage it within yourself. Lakini tunasema, it doesn't end there. You also have to manage it with other people as well. Okay. And the reason that we say this is, when you're operating from negative emotions, okay, ubongo wako unakuwa unajifunga. You're not able to think of new ideas. You're not able to be creative. You're not able to do things the right way because you're operating from a place of fear. Lakini, when you experience positive emotions, ubongo wako unafunguka, you're able to take in much more information. You're able to think creatively, laterally, and come up with good decisions. Is it making sense? Nitapa mfano. Have you ever been in an argument with a person? I'm sure all of us have, yeah? Lakini ukiwa kwenye ile situation, labda at that point in time, unashindwa kuja na jibu uzuri. Alafu ukisharudi nyumbani ukakaa ukafikiria, you're like, pale ningemjibu hivi, ningemweza kweli, right? Sindio? Lakini kwa nini in that hivi mpaka uvorudi nyumbani? Because pale you were stressed. So your brain shuts down because it's protecting you. Kwa hiyo it shuts down and you're not able to think of the appropriate response or how to deal with that situation. But uvorudi nyumbani and you're able to be calm and you're like, now your brain is opening up and you're thinking, pale ningeweza kujibu hivi. Now this is important because when it goes to work and you're experiencing a lot of negative emotions, it becomes very hard for you to be productive because you won't be able to think clearly. Kazi utakazofanya, they will be affected. You could be an A student, lakini kama you're always in a place of operating from negative emotions, you will not do well, right? But if so you need to learn how to manage your emotions. And the only way that you can do that is by actually understanding the way that you feel. Now, I have been told that I have 5 minutes, so I'm going to quickly take you through hizi competencies, the emotional intelligence, so that you're able to actually understand, tukisema as an emotional intelligence person, ukienda kazini, how do you portray yourself in an effective manner, okay? So kwanza ni self-awareness, and we talked about this sana, so I'm not going to focus on it sana. I'm just going to repeat, kwamba when we talk about self-awareness, are you aware that the way that you show up ina impact wale watu ambao unafanya nao kazi? Kama leo ukienda kazini na hasira, wale watu ambao wamekuzunguka hawataweza kuinteract na wewe vizuri. So as a team ina impact ile performance that you have. Your productivity inapungua. So you need to be able to know how you're feeling, but also understanding your strengths and your weaknesses. And hapa is when most of the people tunapata challenge. Kwenye kutaja mazuri yetu, we're always top of the bar. Tunasema, oh, I'm good in this, I'm good in this. Lakini you also need to know your limitations, so that when it comes to a point unahitaji msaada, unaweza kwenda kwa team member wako kamwambia, hapa mimi I'm not strong in this area. Can you help me? Can you assist me? Okay? That is having ile self-awareness. But then also having awareness of others. When you go into work, you spend most of your days kazini, more than 8 hours, right? So these people become the people that you see in, day out, they become your family. So you need to be able to recognize when a person is struggling, when a person is facing challenges or needs support. So you need to be very aware of how other people show up, and no, kwamba huyu siku zote yuko hivi, lakini leo amekuja tofauti, ana shida gani? Approaching that person and actually talking to them. So tunasema a person who is high in awareness of others, this person is empathetic, anajali watu. But if haoneshi hii kujali watu wengine, tunasema that they are insensitive. Do you want to be insensitive people? No, right? Then we have authenticity. And basically hii tunasema kwamba ni uhalisia. How authentic or how genuine are you? Ukisema unafanya kitu, you actually get it done, right? When you make promises, you actually honor them and you see it through. But also taking ile accountability. Kule kwenye accountability ladder tunarudi, right? Umefanya maamuzi, umefanya decision, you did some activity and it was not, the outcome was not good. Hujump kusema kwamba, oh no, hii haikuwa kazi yangu, au hii mimi sikufanya mimi. No, you actually take that accountability kwamba mimi ndio nilifanya yale maamuzi, and yes, it did not go well, but what are the lessons learned from it? So tunasema with that, a person who is authentic anakuwa ni genuine, because ni truthful, and it becomes easier for that person to be trusted. This could be a standard as well. Your standard that you're setting yourself to, kwamba mimi, whatever happens, I'm always going to be authentic. But also emotional reasoning, ku understand kwamba most of the time tukifanya maamuzi, tunaangalia facts and information that is there. Lakini with emotional reasoning tunasema unaangalia, we all have gut feelings, intuitions, right? Yes? We are using that as well when it comes to decision making. Kwamba, how do I feel about this decision? Do I feel, kwa sababu sometimes unafanya decision because it is what is expected of you, lakini ukiangalia we mwenyewe na zile values zako, ukiangalia na jinsi ilivyokaa, unaona, this does not sit right with me. So you need to look at different angles before making that decision. Kwamba, how does it affect the people that I work with? Is it beneficial to my team and to my organization? Then tunasema that you are expansive, because you are focusing on more than just the information that is there on the table. Then we have self-management. Na kama inavyosema ni how do you regulate yourself? Yeah? Kitu kikitokea, unapandwa na hasira, una-react, how you're able to maintain your cool, right? So you have to be that person who is able to manage themselves so that una control your emotions. Sio emotions sasa zinakuvaa wewe ndo zina control ile situation. Na tunasema if you're able to do this, then you become a person that is resilient, meaning whatever comes your way, you will find something to get through that situation. But also positive influence. You are going into the workforce. You're going to meet so many people. You have something that they could benefit from, and they have something that you can benefit from as well. You're going to work in teams. How do you positively influence the people that you work with? So it could be on something very small. Tuseme wewe umekaa hapa leo umepata hii knowledge ya emotional intelligence, mwenzako kule kazini hajapata. How do you share the knowledge, or how do you positively impact that person through any knowledge that you have to work better as a team? So it leads to team empowerment. You're able to align with each other. You're able to share what you have that you think will benefit other people. Is it making sense? Am I bombarding you with too many technical terms? Can I ask for 2 more minutes? There's just one thing that is really, really important that I would just like to highlight before I close. And that is, most of the time, conflict zinatokea because tukiwa na hasira, kwenye ile miscommunication that we're talking about, right? So I will skip to something very important. Heri kujikwa kidole kuliko ulimi, right? Because sometimes words once spoken, you cannot take them back. Na haujui impact ambayo inaenda kumfanyia yule mtu ambaye amepokea yale maneno, right? So what I want to stress in here is everyone has their triggers. Kila mtu ana kitu ambacho kikitokea kinamtrigger sana. For example, mimi, I'm a very impatient person. So for example, we agree to meet with someone at a certain time. Amechelewa, I get really, really triggered. I get really annoyed. Alafu inabidi nirudi kule kwenye self-management. And I'm still struggling with that. So it becomes an issue. So what we're saying is, in such situations when you are triggered, you need to be able to take the space. So I actually wanted you to see this, but I'll just explain it to you. Okay, yeah, here. This is what I want you to see. So normally, when something triggers us, what happens is the event. So maybe something happens, mtu kachelewa. We'll use my example, okay? Mtu kachelewa. I get triggered. So my default response is ni kuanza kushout to that person. Umeniweka, mimi nimefika muda mrefu, sijui ni nini hivyo, right? That is my default trigger. But what we're saying is, an emotionally intelligent person, what they're going to do is they're going to take some space. Kwamba sawa mtu ameshachelewa, nisianze kumpigia hapo simu nianze kumsema. Kwa sababu at that point, I don't know what that person is going through. Labda amekwama kwenye foleni au labda amepata ajali, right? So you have to take some space before you give the response. Ukishikwa na hasira sana, most of the time hapo sisi kinachotujia ni kuzungumza au kuongea kwa hasira. But instead what you should do is actually take some time. And when I say time, haimaanishi sijui lisaa limoja au a day, no. It could be something as simple as 10 seconds. You just step back, you breathe in and breathe out for 10 seconds. Watu wengine hata wengine wanasema wakinywa maji ile hasira yao inapungua. The reason that you're taking the space is so that you're able to regulate yourself, so that you're able to not get consumed ile in the heat of the moment. Ili sasa ukienda kwa yule mtu, response unayompa inakuwa at least umesha calm down kidogo, umeshapata muda wa kureflect. And I think this is very important because most miscommunications zinatokea kwenye such moments. Mtu akishikwa na hasira anasema kitu that they didn't mean, and it affects relationships, it affects the way that you interact with people. But once you take the space, unakuwa una reflect, unaangalia the situation from their point as well, right? And then una respond in an effective manner. Kuliko ukirespond pale pale, it might lead to unnecessary stress between the two of you. Is it making sense? Okay, so yeah, I think I am done for today. I am sorry for the next presenter, kama nimechukua a bit more time from you.
Naomba kwa wale wenye maswali, tuandae maswali, then baadaye tutakuwa na session ya maswali kwa presenters wote, kwa sababu pia muda wetu uko nyuma, lakini na imani tuna maswali ya kuuliza. Hata kwa session ambayo tulianza nayo asubuhi, tutaweza kupata muda wa kuuliza maswali. Lakini zaidi ya hapo niseme asante sana Rukaya for the brain of thought. Naamini kila mtu, yani umekuwa ukijitafuta, mimi niko wapi? Emotionally where I am. Under which situation and how do I act? Do I act proactively or not? Do I act in favor or not? Do I inflict my colleagues or not? Lakini kila mtu apate namna gani ya kujiuliza on the past, how have we been behaving, but also in the future, how are we supposed to behave in whatever kind of situation. So with that, I call for applause of hands as she leaves the stage. Baada ya hapa tutajikita kwenye wasilisho linalofuata ambalo litawasilishwa na Mr. Philemon Kisamo ambaye ni Managing Director of Peak Performance International Limited. And as he comes, his past history, as I read from his reference, he has been an MD of Kilimanjaro International Airport, CADCO, as well as a General Manager of Precision Air Services Arusha. Not only that, also he has been Operation Manager and a pilot at Precision. And also, he is a coach with multiple brain integration techniques. And as I speak multiple brain, we all think of AI. So think of him as another part of AI system. And also he is a trainer of neurologistic programming and neuro association conditioning. So as he comes to the stage, please applause of hands to him. He'll be here presenting all about attitude, behavior, mindset towards success. How are we behaving towards success? How about our mindset? Are we set? Are we programmed? But as he comes to feed us with how we can prepare ourselves for the mind of success. Karibu sana.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, engineers. Okay, thank you very much for allowing me to stand in front of you today. I'm going to talk to you about yourselves, right? I thank the previous speaker for covering emotional intelligence, which is a very, very important subject. And I'm going to go deeper into that, right? So I'm going to cover a few things which will take you further into understanding yourself and how you can make yourself a better engineer, right? Okay, so in doing so, let me want to understand that the reason that you chose to become an engineer is so that you can become successful. Is that correct? Is it true? Is it true that you decided to become an engineer so that you can become successful? How many say yes? I decided to become an engineer because I want to be successful. Can you put up your hands? Okay, so none of you actually want to be successful as engineers. So I'm probably talking to the wrong group. I don't know why you're here. I don't know why you're here. You know why you're here, isn't it? All right. So where I want to start from is the fact that, yes, you have decided to be an engineer. That's true. And you want to be successful. That's true. But do you know of engineers who have not become successful? You know of engineers who have not become successful? Are there engineers who have not become successful? Okay, are there engineers who have become successful? So, will you be successful just because you're an engineer? Aha, so together the fact that you want to be successful and you are an engineer, there are chances that you may not be as successful as you want, right? Okay, so there are engineers who are successful and engineers who are not. Isn't that true? Okay, so let me want to take you to this reality that success does not come to you. I mean, as an engineer, you'll not be successful just because you're an engineer. You go to success. Success is there for everyone. Success is there for anybody who wants to be successful. Even people who are not engineers can become successful. So success is like that door there. If you want to get out of here, you have to go through that door. So if you're an engineer and you want to be successful, you definitely have to go towards success. And there are many people who thought that just by being an engineer, just by graduating at the college, then I'll be successful. And you get surprised that at the end, you have not become successful. There are things beyond you being an engineer which will make you successful. And if you don't do them, you will not be successful. And one of them is the emotional intelligence bit that Rukaiya covered. As I said, I'll go a little bit deeper into that. I'm trying to see if we can play these clips here. If we cannot hear them, then I will skip them.
Something we create. There is no tablet that will give you prosperity. There's no medicine that will take you to the better future. You will never stumble into your future. The future is not something you enter into. It is something that you create. Listen to me, my life took a giant leap forward 20 years ago when I got the revelation of this. That your future is not a miracle or a mystery. It is a harvest of choices you make today. So if you make right choices today, let me tell you, you're going to harvest a bright future. You're going to harvest a better future. Can I make this statement to African people? Ukuthi, there is no oil that will give you a better future. There is no water that will give you a better future. There is no prophet that will ever give you a better future. There is no wristband that will ever give you a better future. There is no sticker that you put on your car that will ever give you a better future. The future, you create it with your own hands. Listen to me, Africa. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
So, engineers, the future will not just come. You have to create it, right? If you don't, you're not going to get the future that you want. And you will be surprised. And of course, as he said there are many things that you will do thinking that you'll be successful and then you'll not. Some people, as shown there, want it to happen. I want to be successful. I want to do this and that and that. Some people wish they would be successful. But some people are working hard. They've got their shirt sleeves up, making sure that they become successful. Which one are you of these people? Are you the one who wants? Are you the one who wish you would be successful? Or are you the one who's making it happen? Your level of success will be different depending on where you choose to be. If you want, you get different results. If you wish, you'd get different results. If you are doing it, you will definitely get different results. Okay, I wanted also to play this clip here so that you can listen to it.
In Tanzania, I met Abdul. This man was born without arms and legs, but he could still do anything. I kid you not. He can play volleyball, dig, write, draw, and many more activities. What makes this man more impressive is that he is the most fantastic architect I have ever seen. He designs buildings and designs better than people with hands. But despite Abdul being talented, he missed one thing. Abdul couldn't get a love after being dumped by many women because of his looks. However, God's timing is never wrong. At the right time, God brought him a perfect wife and gave them a beautiful baby girl, while people discouraged them that they will never have a baby. Most people laughed at this beautiful woman, wondering how she married a man with no limbs. But today, they are a happy family, and Abdul is living proof that anything is possible with a willing heart, hard work, determination, and a positive attitude. Please share Abdul's story with the world.
Okay, so that's Abdul, an architect. Lakini, what is important about him is that he said, much as he doesn't have arms or legs, he does things many architects cannot do, many engineers cannot do. And he said, you can achieve all that with a willing heart, determination, and readiness to do. And you'd be surprised if Abdul was the one sitting here and you're told that he's an architect. How does he draw without arms? How does he play football and volleyball without arms? You would be surprised. But to him, he doesn't feel that he's missing all those, because he knows that success to him is not arms or legs or not having a full body. So what am I talking about in bringing out all these things? Kwamba, in you, in me, in Abdul, and in many other people, there is a powerful force. There is something created in you if you know that you have it. If you know that you have it and you start using it, you will be successful as an engineer, as a person who's coming up to become whatever you want. The previous speaker spoke about her pursuing a different area of study when she was studying, and now she's doing something else. Now, what are we talking about here? We are talking about one being able to identify that they have something in them and start using it. Once you are able to do that, you will be successful in that area. I don't want to refer to myself, but if you're told that I have flown aeroplanes, you'd be surprised. But I can do all these things because of the potential within. Once you know that you have this potential, you have this powerful force as an engineer, and you start tapping into it, not just having it and sitting on it. Because potential, as you know, is nothing if you don't use it, right? Kama tumejenga lile bwawa kule Mwalimu Nyerere and the water fills up and you don't do anything, you'll not get electricity. Potential is something, is a resource, but you have to tap onto it so that you can get what you want. You as engineers, you as people who have been to school, that's okay. But how are you tapping into that potential? So the moment you're able to tap into that potential, you can achieve your dream. You can achieve your vision. You can achieve your goals. And that will bring about the success that you're talking about. If really your aspiration is success. If you are seated here and what you want is to be successful, you can only achieve that if you realize that you have a potential in you and you start using that potential. Now, obviously, success is something that everyone wants. It's something that every organization wants. It's something that Tanzania wants. Every country in the world wants success. And therefore, it's an area which has been studied a lot. In fact, the reason why people started going to school to learn things, different areas, is because they want to increase their chances for success. The reason that you went to school probably is because you want to be successful. And therefore, I'm saying it's an area which has been studied a lot. Organizations, high-end organizations have started and they're keeping studying success. Out of studying success, what was established is that success is not only about your school education, degree in engineering. No. It is also about emotional intelligence. Success is therefore attitudes, behaviors, mindset, our belief systems. Of course, plus your education and your work experiences that you will get through the SEAP program. A combination of those is what will define your level of success as an engineer. What has actually been established is that success is more to do with emotional intelligence than to do with your education, with your work experiences. All right, you may want to question this, but there are many ways of proving it. If you go out kule Kariakoo and look at those big buildings kule, ukiangalia the owners, you will see some of them employed you engineers to build them, and they have no engineering knowledge. Right? I mean, okay, so this is the reality, that success is more to do with emotional intelligence. And one of the elements of emotional intelligence is the attitude that you have, is the behavior that you demonstrate, is the beliefs that you have. And if you are able to manage these and combine them with your school education, then your chances for becoming a successful engineer will increase dramatically. But if you think that just by having your certificate will make you successful, you are cheating yourself. That will not happen. So there is this new area of study that you have to go towards if you want to be successful. If you do not, if you don't think that is important, then you're cheating yourself. So what is attitude? Okay, we said success is psychology, is emotional intelligence. One of it is attitude, is behavior, is mindset. What is attitude? Attitude is the reaction of how you think. It was demonstrated here when the previous speaker was trying to demonstrate something. How do you react to situations? Now, the way that you react to situations is determined by what is programmed in your mind. So how is your mind programmed? That is probably the most important question. How is your mind as an engineer, as a person who wants to become successful, programmed so that when you are triggered by thinking, you can respond in a certain way? Because when I come to you as an engineer, you are seated in your office somewhere, or when you go to an office somewhere and you expose yourself to the person you want to see, you will see their body reaction. You will see that here I'm not wanted. Or you will see here that I have to do something. What we see of people is not their education. We see of their attitudes. When we come close to them, how they relate with us, how they respond when they see us. That is very, very important. And that tells you about their mind programming. So how does the mind programming occur in people? When a kid is born, it's like when you go to a shop to buy a new computer which does not have programming, okay? It doesn't have any program. So you buy a very powerful computer, but it does not have an operating system. That's how a kid who's just been born is. Their brains are there. They have the capacity to understand, but they are not programmed. They get programmed as they live in the environment in which they live. They are exposed to the things that they see every day, and that continues telling them how to do things in their environment so that they can live better, they can survive. A kid born in a certain area does not have to understand what is happening in a different area in the world because that is not important for them. And this actually is not only about human beings, it's about animals. Because animals, to survive in certain areas, they need to be programmed so that they can survive in those areas. If they do not get programmed the right way, they will be eaten by predators anytime. So human beings are like that. You survive in the environment in which you're born. So what does this environment tell you? How does it make your brain understand its circumstances? If you are born in a place where they tell lies, they speak bad language, they cheat, they steal, that will be your mind programming. When you now come into life, these things will start showing. Mind programming is a big thing. And this is why we are saying you are going to be, probably some of you have children or some are going to be parents. It's very, very important to look at this part of development stage of children because it will shape their future. What we see in you right now as an engineer has a lot to do with how you grew up. The programming that happened when you are a kid. So, talking about attitude, that's really what we mean. Attitude is the way you are programmed and how you react when a certain situation shows up. This is important. And you know, you will relate to a person because of how they show. Their facial expression to you will make you want to deal with them or not deal with them. It doesn't matter how much education they have. It doesn't matter how much they maybe want to pay you, no. Once they show you their facial expression, you will know this is a person I want to deal with or not. So as engineers, upcoming engineers, this is important. You will have to know how to go into emotional intelligence now to deprogram. If you are programmed in a certain way, which makes you respond the way you're responding now, you have to go through deprogramming, okay, emotional intelligence, so that you reconfigure yourself so that we can get a better reaction from you. Okay, so there I'm talking about attitude. But let me speak a little bit about behavior. Attitude is the way you respond. Behavior is the way you do. You see a person behaving after observing how they do things. And you do things also according to how your brain is programmed. Okay? So your brain programming or your mind programming determines your attitude, how you respond to things, but also how you behave. You will see a person like you, if we gave you a duty, something to do, you will behave differently because of your mind programming. And this determines the results that we get from you at the end. And this is a big, big thing in people. We know that human behavior is difficult to change. How people behave is difficult to change. That's because, as I said, it's a programming of your mind. And once you have been programmed, it's not easy to get that information out of you. You have to deprogram. You have to learn emotional intelligence for you to change. That is the reality. Okay, so as you see here, we are saying it's difficult to change, but you're not saying that it's impossible. So the way you are behaving right now, you may want to change it. For example, Rukaiya said, sometimes you are late. Sometimes you're not a person who does not keep time. You may want to change that. It's not easy. You want to be able to keep time all the time. But sometimes you wake up late. Sometimes you tell lies. Sometimes you speak bad language. You may want to change that. Once you have assessed yourself and seen how you're not, the behavior that you have, you may want to change it. It's not easy, but it's something that you can do. And you can do that if you go through certain programs, but also understanding emotional intelligence. The other thing that I want to talk about is that behavior is also a result of you right now seated here as an engineer who's aspiring to become successful, doing something repetitively for a long time. For example, if you never drank in your life, if you don't drink alcohol, and if you want to start drinking, just take 1 glass today. Tomorrow, another glass. After that, 2 glasses. After that, 4 glasses. Eventually, you'll be a person who drinks. Behavior is a result of doing something repetitively for a long time. If you are not a person who tells lies, and you start telling lies kidogo, 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 it will build up, and eventually it will shape your behavior. So behavior is a result of conditioning yourself, doing something repetitively for a long time. So as you go into workplaces, you have to be very mindful about this, because you're going to be exposed to many circumstances. You're going to be maybe be given a duty of handling people, people's money. If you start stealing kidogo kidogo, eventually it's going to be a very big challenge. You think that you'll never be caught, but you will be caught. If you cheat people, if you take advantage of other people, this is a big problem that you must be aware of. Don't expose yourself to things which will condition you into something which can damage your lives as engineers. But also, when you do something like that, it's not that you will not know. It's not that you don't know. Because normal people like you and many others will know this is right and this is wrong. They will know. If you ask even a kid, when you tell them don't eat sugar, they know they should not eat sugar. Right? They know. It's not that they don't know. The problem is, do we choose to do what we know is right all the time? Do we choose to do what we know is right all the time? This is a big challenge to people and to you, aspiring engineers. Choose to do what you know is right all the time. If I pose this question to you, and mkazungumza frankly, I'll probably hear that, no, sometimes we choose to do what is wrong instead. You know this is right and this is wrong, and you choose to do what is wrong instead of what is right. And that's the normal trend of human life. We choose to do what is wrong instead of what is right, sometimes. Now, I wanted to give a short story ya vijana wawili waliomaliza chuo kikuu kama nyie. I'm not sure if some of you have just come out of university au wengine mshafanya kazi. But there are two guys who came from university. One was called Ezra and the other one Thomas. After going to a workplace, they were both employed, same course, same years. They got employed somewhere. After working there for some time, Ezra akapandishwa cheo, akamwacha Thomas. So Thomas, on seeing that, started complaining kwamba this workplace ina upendeleo, sijui na nini. So he actually wanted to resign. The manager, on realizing kwamba Thomas was complaining, na yeye ndio alikuwa anajua the performance differences between the two people, decided to want to share that with Thomas kwa benefit yake. Kwa hiyo what he did is what I want to explain here. That okay, so he went to Thomas and told Thomas, go and find out if someone is selling watermelon in town. Thomas went and returned and said, yes, there's someone selling watermelons in town. The manager asked him, how much per kilo? Thomas drove back to town to ask, and then he returned and informed the manager, they are $13.50 per kilo. The manager told Thomas, I'll give Ezra the same task. Please pay attention to how he'll attend to the duty. So akaenda kwa Ezra, akampa the same duty. Ezra, go and find out if someone is selling watermelons in town. Ezra went to find out, and on his return he said, manager, there is only one person selling watermelons in the whole town at a cost of $13.50 each watermelon, and $8.50 for half. He sells them at $15.50 when sliced. He has 93 melons in stock, each one of them weighing 7 kilos. He has a farm and can supply us melons for the next 4 months at the rate of 102 watermelons per day at $12.50 per watermelon, including delivery. They appear fresh and red with good quality, and they taste better than those of last year. He has his own slicing machine and willing to slice them free of charge for us. We need to strike a deal with them before 10 o'clock tomorrow, and we will be sure of beating our last year's profit. This will contribute positively to our performance and will contribute 4% to our current overall sales. I have put this information down in writing and is available on spreadsheet. Please tell me if you need. Okay, so is there a difference between the two? Hello, I'm talking to you engineers. Is there a difference? Which one are you? I'm not asking you, which one do you want to be? No. In terms of how you do things, if I came, I was very far watching how you're doing things, how would I see you? Performing as Ezra or Thomas? I don't know. Now, you are aspiring to be employed somewhere, right? What kind of people do employers want? They want Ezras. And they went to the same school, right? The same degree, the same workplace, and they're different. What makes them different? Is it school knowledge? What is it? Is it something difficult for you to demonstrate, to get? Why is it that it's only Ezra who can demonstrate it and Thomas cannot? I'm telling you, this is the difference between success and failure in life. It's not education. If you don't know how Ezra does things for him to become successful, then you better learn. You better understand that it's not only your school knowledge. It is not. And if you want to be successful, you better do it differently. So, in life then, if you are Thomas, for example, and the options were that you change to be Ezra or die, which one would you take? Hello? If you are asked, you're Thomas, to change or die, which one would you take? Change, right? Yes. A lot of us will choose to change. But I tell you, the moment you press the button for change, you have almost chosen to die. Why? Because change is not easy. Change does not just come about because you want. You have to change in your within. You have to realize the importance of emotional intelligence. You have to know how you're programmed if you want to change. And actually, where change was needed, in every 10 people, only one person changes. The rest don't. They die. In you engineers who are seated here, like, I don't know, maybe 150, 200, if change was needed, only a handful of you would change. But also, as you're listening to me, unless you realize the importance of emotional intelligence, your engineering knowledge is not going to help you much. Change is not easy. Change is very difficult, especially given that it's been programmed in you. So, consciously, you want to change. Consciously, I must achieve, I must be successful as an engineer. But subconsciously, there's something drawing you back. You cannot move. You find it difficult to be able to move. And this is what we're talking about. Now, is it? Okay, I'd like to play this clip again for you to also see the effect of change in people, if possible.
One day, a group of friends, very successful in their careers, got together to visit their old university professor. After a while, the conversation turned into complaints, all about stress and work and life. The professor, noticing the grumbles, asked if his guests would like a cup of coffee. They agreed, and the professor went to the kitchen and returned with a large pot of coffee and a variety of cups. Porcelain, glass, crystal, and some plain looking. Some expensive and some exquisite. He told them to help yourself to the coffee. When all of the students had a cup of coffee in hand, the professor said, "If you noticed, all the nice-looking expensive cups were taken up, leaving behind the plain and cheap ones. While it is normal for you to want only the best for yourselves,